Oh, hello there. I'm Jam, and I bought this shirt at a thrift store, but it was way too big. All right, I know that was goofy, but so I bought this shirt at a thrift store. It's a men's shirt, and I wanted to maintain the masculine form of the shirt, but I wanted it to fit me better, right? And I didn't want a feminine form because, hi, I'm Jam. I'm non-binary, right? So I went and I found this shirt. I absolutely loved it, but it was going to be way too big because I needed to find a men's shirt that was going to fit my hips first, right? So when it came to the hips, I had to make sure it was going to lay flat through here, and then I could take everything else from there. Other people that are AFABs trying to buy men's clothes, sometimes their biggest part is their chest or their tummy. So keep that in mind when you're buying clothes up for the opposite gender. Alright, even though I do have a mannequin that's sized to me, most people don't. So I'm going to walk you through my process of doing it without a mannequin. So I've got some pins handy. You could also use safety pins if you're scared of poking yourself. So I'm not going to be adjusting my sleeves because I like them, sleeve length, but obviously they are too big on me. So I'm going to do a couple things here. I'm going to find a comfortable spot for me to bring my arm up and down. Not going to pull too much. This seems like a good spot. And I'm pinning at the seams. So like the seams here, so it's about joined up, okay? And this will help guide the rest of the way. And I would be poking myself. I will poke myself more than once, don't worry about it. I am going to also pin here just for symmetry, and then I'll put it down on the table and kind of match it up. So that's about the same. And be mindful of it. So I'm already, it's already narrowing up. I've already stabbed myself. All right, next up is for women's stuff, like usually they have darts here or darts in the back, but I'm not going to do any of that. I want a straight cut. And I do have a waist, right? And I do have hips, but I still want to keep a semi-masculine form, a square shape. So I'm not going to take it in on my waist all the way. I'm just going to kind of bring it straight down. I'm using the phone as a mirror right here. I do suggest pinning it on both sides. It doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical if you're pinning it on both sides. What you can do is when we get to it, when we lay it out, we'll measure it and average it. And I pull this down my armpit again. Watch out the sewing craft, I promise. So that's about, pretty good there. Alright, and then I'm going to bring it down to the hips as well. Just taking a couple inches off of each side. So, pinning it. And pinning it, right? And it's fairly easy from there. Now I've got this area. Maybe safety pin is a better idea. Great. So I've got all of this extra floof, right? And I'm going to take off a good amount here. So I'm going to taper this out all the way to about there, and that way everything will remain the same around my cup. So all I'm doing here is I'm grabbing 2 pins. This helps me personally. So I'll grab 2 pins and I'll push it through right here. So that way I'll know that I want to take my taper and cut out all that extra fabric. Other than your sewing machine, you're going to need a few things. Your pins, some chalk or some sort of writing implement. I like to use a curved ruler, straight ruler. Really, you can just use any hard straight edge, and a sewing gauge. And of course a measuring tape. And probably calculator because we're going to do math. Next we're going to do some measuring. So I've got the armpits here, and I'm measuring from the pin to the edge. Pin to the edge is 2.5 inches on the one side, and 2.5 inches, well 2 3/4 inches on the other. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more room and do the 2 1/4 inches. Also, this is my opportunity to really line up those sides. It doesn't matter a lot right now because we will be turning everything over and marking it from the wrong side, but I'm just going to have it there for reference. So I've got 2.5, 2.5. Great, love it. Next up is the more difficult part. is our waist section, right? That waist section right here, you can see on one side it's way shorter than the other. Well, maybe you can't, but anyway, it's there. So on this side, I have about just under 3.5 inches. But this side, ooh, way less, 2.25 inches. So you can average these things, right? So I said on 2.25 plus, was it 3.5? See, I've already forgotten it. 3.5. Right? Got that? Add it. It's 575 divided by 2. So you've got 2 7/8 or 0.875. So 2 7/8. I'm going to just round it up to 3 inches on each side, and that should do pretty well. If I was nervous about taking out too much, I would round it down to maybe like a 2.5 on each side, right? So I want to do just about 3 inches right here. And then I'm also going to do the same thing over here. Shift it just a little bit. Don't get sidetracked, okay? Because once you pull out the pin, you lose it. So bringing this pin over to 3 inches. Next difference is I've got a difference from this side to the waist. So I want to make sure these are the same. This might not be enough. I'm sorry, you need something else to measure. You're going to need a measuring tape. So from armpit to the pin is 8 inches. Armpit to the pin is 8 inches. Okay, so that's great. Sometimes you just want to verify that. For people with scoliosis or other back problems or any other torso misalignment, keep these sort of things in mind that you may not want them to match. All right. So next up is I have this little section at the bottom where my hips were. They look pretty even. They look like about 1 inch on each side. So I'm just gonna check that out. And yeah, it's diagonal, but it's about 1 inch, right? Inch looks great. And then I'm gonna bring it over here. Also, inch looks great. Now, I've got all these pins on the outside of my garment. So next thing I've got to do, and everybody kind of has their own methods for it, right? So I'm going to have my chalk, and I'm going to fold it over and mark right where the pin is. So right here, where that little pin joint is. So I'm marking enough so it marks on both sides of the fabric, both the front and back. I'm going to do the same thing over here, marking the front and back. And then I'm also going to open this side up in here, front and back. Same thing on the other side. And I'm even going to take that moment to flip this over and mark it on the inside here, just to make it look nice. It does not have to be. I'm going to pull all the pins. Holding this nice and neat along this seam and then pushing it flat. And then matching up the section here along the seams and pin it just to keep it curved. It's good. It's quite an angle actually. I'm probably going to ease it up just a bit. So I'm going to grab this, which is one of my favorite tools, but we're going to use, so you can just use straight edge and draw the lines, or you can kind of curve them out. And you can just kind of use the straight edge as a guideline. It does not have to be perfect. Right. So I'm not actually going to bring this all the way in. It's going to be a lot. So I'm actually, yeah. Yeah, I'm not getting that whole section in. I'm going to try it on once I sew it and see if that's okay. You're going to pin across the line, not along it, so across it. Then I've got this line that also needs done. There we go. Measure what the distance is, which is 4.5. Just gonna smooth out that curve there. So you can see from there, and I rounded out this section, and it goes down to the edge. No, see, I took everything in, I made sure it all looks okay. Usually a little bit of like ruffling will happen. You're just gonna gotta ease it as you go. But I'm pretty happy with that. So now I'm going to go ahead and serge the inside because it's just a bunch of extra fabric right now. You could also use painting shears. Like you could see all the extra fabric. So we gotta get rid of that. So there are a few ways to finish this off, right? First way is probably the most basic way. You need no extra tools other than your sewing machine, and that is to cut about a 1/2 inch from here and then just do a zigzag all the way down. 5.0 wide and 3.0 length, okay? Pretty like basic zigzag. Or if you want to get a little fancier, you can get some pinking shears. These are a personal favorite of mine when I don't have access to my serger. So I'm going to go ahead and do my serger, and you'll see the nice clean finish that comes out. We got through it. It's like I store bought it. It's all serged and ready to go. I'll show you the finished thing. All right, it's all done. Yay. It looks great. I'm pretty happy about that. And I can still roll up the sleeves. I bought a shirt. I bought a shirt. I got a shirt. I got a shirt.